them.
Anytime.
Okay.
Started.
So today we're going to continue the Teepa Snow. I'm Carrie, and so one of the things that we're going to start with is how dementia affects your brain and the fact that you lose your curiosity, your safety awareness, all that kind of good stuff. So we're going to watch Teepa for a little bit, and then we'll discuss it afterwards.
So real quickly, we're going to go back to our scenario. Because what I want you to realize, human beings, when they decide to go do something, what happened is I was sitting here and I got called to my appetite. I'm thirsty. Core. Well, now the core of my brain is in the center part of my brain. Do this. This is the limbic system. This is that drive to survive. This is the part that says I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I've got to keep, I've got to poop. And now it's time, and you guys are getting close to that. It's, look, temperature regulation. It's also how I fight infections. It's heart rate, respiratory rate. It's wake-sleep cycle. All that's in the core of my brain, in the limbic system. And then part of that limbic system, put your index fingers out, is my amygdala. Your amygdala is this survival thing. It's your impulse. Yeah. Fight, flight, fight. Part of the limbic that's special. It's basically designed to protect you in moments of danger. So it's shit, what was that? No, I don't like that. I want what I want when I want it. Do that. Oh, what was that? Because some of you can't say shit. I don't know why. You can in certain situations, but just not here in front of everybody. Oh, what was that? That's fright. Then, no, that's flight. I want what I want when I want it. Fight. Fight, flight, fright. Automatic, basic core stuff. Then around the outside is built other stuff. The last part of a human brain to develop, put your hand right up here, is this one. Safety awareness. That ability to think things through, to be thoughtful, to consider your options, to control that limbic system, that autonomic system, and instead say, you know what, not a good idea. Hang on there. Let's not go right now. Let's wait a second. Making decisions. Initiating, sequencing, terminating, and being able to see something from somebody else's point of view. Very last part of a human brain to develop. There are some people who never get it. Just so you know. You know them. So here I am in the living room, and I decided to make coffee. Ah, that was my limbic system saying you're thirsty, go get something. And I started to act on that, but what happened? Oh, look, gosh, telephone rang, an interruption, auditory. I knew what to do. I answered the phone because I recognized what it was. And then when I heard my friend's voice, I knew who it was, but I could not think of her name right that moment. That is normal aging. And here's why. What happens with normal aging is the following. Put your hand to the back of your brain. For each human being you've ever met, you take a picture, snapshot. If you see them multiple times, you have multiple snapshots. And you have them each in a file folder marked that person. But then, in order to come up with the name of that person, you have to go up here to the left, temporal lobe, and find your file cabinet for names. You have to sort down through the list of names to find the one that matches that picture. And then what you have to do, go over here, you have to do voice recognition, and match it up, and then out of your mouth from this side comes the word, hey Betty. Here's a reality check. Our speed of processing slows over time. It's basically 0.5 to 1% per year from the time you're 25 on. Yeah, around 40 to 50, you're starting to notice the slowing. And so I go to get the data, and it's like, the mouse is not clicking nearly as fast. Now, let me tell you something about these mouse. If you keep clicking that button, you freeze the mouse up, and the mouse goes, oh shit, I don't know what you want. Hang on, stop. I don't know what, wait a minute, I'm thinking. What am I thinking? I can't tell you anymore. You want me to think of something. I can't think of it. Oh, wait. It starts with B. I got to the file drawer. I even got to the right area, but I couldn't come up with the name as quick as I wanted to come up with the name and the expectation. And so some of us go, oh, hey, sweetheart, how are you? I'm cheating. I'm using automatic system to cover for the loss. And some of you call me on it. Who do you think this is? Why are you so mean? One of these days you'll be older. You'll have that moment of, I know them. This is why we give you name tags. This is why name tags are a good thing. Because what did I provide for your eyeballs? Check, there it is. I don't need to look in the file cabinet. Look, I found it. So as you get with older people, you'll start to notice when you wear your name tag, they look at your name tag after they look at your face, and then they say your name. That's because they're smart. Some of you are doing it here. And if not, you hate when people call you on this. Why are we so mean? Here's what you want to learn how to do. Hey, Betty, it's Teepa. Why don't we talk like that anymore? We used to say things, and there was a polite way that you did the telephone. We don't do it anymore. You go, hey, you know who I am? Or my least favorite, when you know somebody has dementia, Mom, which one am I? What is this, a quiz right away? I don't like you very much anymore. You're making me feel stupid. How many people like feeling stupid? Raise your hand if it's your favorite way to feel. We've got to quit doing this, because what ends up happening is you shut down my system, you don't make it work. Because right away you shoved your agenda out. So when we go downstairs, which we are going to do, because you know what I'm noticing? Your limbics are starting to get really active. Y'all had coffee, maybe some juice, you had those, and your limbic is going, we need to pee. We need to pee now. I need to get up, I need to go pee. We go pee? I thought we were going to pee. Are we not going to go pee? I need to go pee. And so your limbic system is sort of queuing you up. We got to go soon. And it better not be long. And getting out of these chairs, we better be careful. Because also I will tell you, some of you have to cue the system up. And here's the first thing. Tell me what you do first thing in the morning when you want to go to the bathroom. You want to know what you do? Hold the pee. Because in the very beginning, your limbic said we need to pee. And when you were really little, what happened when you needed to pee? You pee. As you get older and you learn, not here, not now, we have to put it in a place, a certain place. As you get a little older, these systems are not working as quick and sharp as you might hope. So you actually have to devote energy to hold the pee, make the other muscles work, but hold the pee, keep holding the pee, hold that pee. Keep holding it. Ooh, we're in the bathroom, do not let go. Hang on tight. Got to do a lot of other things. Keep holding the pee, hold back the pee while you go. Okay, now put it down. Now the guys have another problem. Okay, now you can let go. Okay, really, you can. If just relax. No, don't hold on. No, come on, there's more. I'm telling you there's more. Come on, let's let it out. Come on, no, don't tighten up. No, that's not enough. So the women have stress incontinence and the guys have bladder outlet problems. They have retention. So this is the tricky part of getting old. It has nothing to do with dementia. But you put dementia on top of it, and we have big issues. When we meet back downstairs, what we're going to do is finish out the scenario and talk about skill building. And the whole thing is going to come together for you to help you appreciate how you can help people take in data and how you can use your skill to be supportive.
Okay, so what did you think? What was your takeaway from, did that make sense to anybody? I know that for me, going to the bathroom in the mornings, you're like, I'm going to sleep some more, and then you push it to that limit. You know, I can imagine being older, we hear a lot of times that people get up in the mornings, in homes and stuff, and that's almost always when they're soiled, right? So, this also, she compared it to being a child. So do you know can you give any examples of when, maybe a child that you've known, or maybe an adult that you've known that that started to do something that was unsafe, or they normally could do, and you're wondering what the heck is going on? They know that's hot and they're touching it anyway. Any examples?
I burn myself all the time.
So you're not as safe as you used to be.
Well, I've never been really safe, but by mitts works really good.
Right. Right.
I don't know if it's the same kind of thing, but I know as far as safety, my dad, when he drives, which we just don't take the car to his house anymore, but when he drives where he looks, and so if he looks to the left, he drives drives. So I'm like, you're in 2 lanes, you're in the middle of 2 lanes, you need to move. And so it's pretty scary, and he thinks he's fine, which is why we just don't leave his car at his house anymore, because he's not processing that he's not driving safely.
That makes
So-
sense, because that's one of the things, like, you know, a major problem when you're texting and driving, right? If you're
Mhm.
looking at your phone, say to the right, you're probably gonna veer to the right. My son did a project, a science project, and did some data, and that was almost the thing, is if you had the phone or the right or the left. Yes, he used a fake driving app, so he didn't really do it, but that was kind of one of the
Oh,
things.
yeah.
So I guess, you know, that's one of the things that went. So people living with dementia, they lose their safety awareness before curiosity. So that's one of the things that, you know, at least if you, for example, if I want to see if I've cooked something, right, I might touch it, or I might barely put something in my mouth if I want to see if it's too hot. Well, they've lost that too. So not only have they lost, you know, the ability to know that it's hot, they've lost the ability to check and make sure to see if it's hot or not as well. When your dad drove incorrectly, or when you burn yourself, what is your immediate reaction?
Right.
Can't drive anymore.
Right, it freaks us out, we stop, right? So now that you have this information, does what happened in the video make more sense? That, going back to the video where she was getting the coffee, she didn't understand she didn't know who it was. I mean, it took a long time to process that. So does that make more sense as to why that kind of happens, that you lose those parts first?
I had no idea there'd be so many steps involved in connecting a face with a name. I mean, but yeah, I'm seeing that all the time. Mike and I laugh at each other now because we know what we're thinking, but we finish each other's sentences
Right.
because I know what he's wanting to say and he just can't remember the word, and same with me. So yeah.
And I know that y'all heard me do it. I do it all the time, especially with names. I'll say, I know it starts with a B, or I know it starts with an A, and I cannot, it takes me a minute. And a lot of times people fill in because they know what I'm trying to say, but it definitely takes me a minute. Obviously, it's normal aging, which is part of what we're talking
It's a
about.
good thing, yeah.
So then, what is one thing that you can change in your visits that you've learned? And then I'm gonna ask you, once you tell me, let's try it with your partner.
Say your name when you. I try to do that now when I talk to my mom. I'm like, "Hey, Mom, it's Teresa," instead of just "Hey, Mom," because she
Yeah.
used to know who I was. Now it
Oh.
takes her a lot longer to figure out. She has 4 kids, 2 daughters.
You don't say which one am I?
No, I don't. I don't say which one am I.
I hated when my aunts did that to my great grandma. They're like, "Oh, you know which one I am," or whatever, and like, there's many of them. There's like 10 of them.
Well, and see, like she said, I was taught. Of course, it could be that my dad owned a business or whatever. Well, no, even from the time I was little, he taught us how to answer the phone. Hey, this is Carrie, or you're not answer the phone, excuse me, but when I make a phone call, I still do it to this day. Like if I'm calling a dentist office or anything like that, hey, this is Carrie, you know, I have an appointment, I just need to make sure that I bring blah, 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 right? It's just, it's an automatic thing for me, and it didn't occur to me that that's not, except for when, you know, like Catherine calls, I'm like, yellow, you know, like the front desk or something, but it's a casual, I know she knows, but maybe one day I'll have to go.
She's usually like, what do you
Catherine,
want now? Which one am I?
But then luckily, we also have caller ID, right? So
Right,
we can
right.
still read it. Luckily, that helps too. But if you put that together with the hand in hand that we've gone over before, you know that you go, hey, Carrie, it's Carrie. You know, that's part of, you put all of that together and you can understand more why you do it that way.
And actually, when I go on visits, and I'll always tell them my name, but then, and I have my badge on with my name tag, and then if like a minute later they'll ask me my name, and I show them, they're like, oh, okay, Carol. You know, I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta remember to like, hey, Carol Collier, see? Ah, nice.
On the left side.
Oh, right, right. That's exactly it.
Supposed to
Things
be
on
the
left
best.
side.
Oh,
I don't
right.
remember why though.
Really?
Yeah, the left. Is it the left side? Am I right?
I forget, mine's on my badge right here,
Yeah.
so.
I'll have to look. I'll look it up and I'll
Yeah.
definitely get back to you on that and let you know for sure which one it is. So then we are going to watch another video And then this is gonna be, we're gonna do something with normal aging versus not normal aging again, but primarily normal aging.
We need to do a quick review because we've changed places. And one of the things we know about brains is where you learn and hear something matters. And one of the things as we get older, it matters more than you think. When you change rooms, your brain resets the screen. And that is one of the reasons, even if there wasn't a phone call, you might walk from one room to the other and then, what was it I came in here for? Because when you're in a whole new setting, look at all the new data that's coming in and it's bombarding your senses. And if you didn't strongly hook the thing you wanted to go do into that, what's called working memory, by the time you get to the new place, there's nothing to find. Unless you go back to where you had the thought before and then you can find it. Now, I just said a word that's really important, working memory. We now know there's a whole variety of different kinds of memory storage in the human brain. We used to just think it was either long-term and short-term. That's not true. Working memory is probably one of the most vital kinds of memories, and it involves a complex process. Do this. Working memory means that you have to wire together all parts of your brain to get it to work. Because it's complex, human beings can hold the following number of things in working memory. Working memory means I'm able to manipulate and work with them all at the same time.
7.
5, put your hand up. 5, yeah, wonderful. 5 to 8. That's the most a human being can hold on to, and this is the least that a normal functioning human being should be able to hold on to at a time. 5 to 8. So I should be able to hold on to at least 5 pieces of information in my working memory. It's actually pretty complicated. I've got to do a variety of things to do it, but I can. So what I did when I wanted to make coffee, when I was sitting there and finished the TV program, I put make coffee in working memory. And then I went to a new place, and before I could get settled in the new place, the kitchen, which is where I would make the coffee, the telephone rang. So I didn't quite make it to the kitchen to establish the relationship, which would have allowed me to go ahead and do what? Make coffee. I could have finished it off, but instead, what happened is the telephone rang. Attention, new data, incoming. So what I did is I went and answered the telephone, and the first thing, it was my friend. Now I got diverted a little bit, because what did I have to find? Because the way she did it. Her name, and so that took a little energy, so it's my friend Betty. And then she asked me a question, do you want to meet? She gave me data at 2 o'clock, at the mall, at Macy's. She told me there was a new chocolate store that opened. And then I had to hold on to the information about that, and then I had to go find the thing that I know she likes. So I had to go do that, and it was the white, shut up, the white. Now that reaction was you trying to give me more data when I was already trying to work with data. And so what did you notice my little limbic did? Shut up, I don't like that. So shut up is a way to say you're trying to do too much and I didn't like that, and it's a fight system. It was an autonomic, so people say shut up, I'm trying to, would you leave me alone? That distress sign is just you're trying to put data in and I'm already processing, do you mind? And what you want to say is I'm sorry. I said, I'm sorry, I was just trying to help you. It's like, what part of I was trying to process data and you're interrupting did you not get? And what's our natural reaction when somebody says, shut up? No, I was going to tell you why I was interrupting you. That's what you want to do. Do this. Go ahead, do it. Y'all love diarrhea of the mouth. You get diarrhea of the mouth. You try to tell them even when they said, don't tell me. You ignore their message back to you because you have important. You want them to understand why you interrupted them. I don't give a shit why you interrupted me. All I'm trying to tell you is quit interrupting me so I can finish what I was doing. Now some of us are always that way, but guess what happens when you get dementia? Even if you weren't, you become more that way. Guess what happens when you're stressed? Same thing. So professionals, when you're trying to talk to families about, this is what I want you, well, shut up, I can't take it. Family members, you're trying to talk to another family member. I can't hear this right now, would you? Particularly, you're trying to talk to the one who's the primary, because you're observing that their behavior is not helping. And they're going, ah! And you're going, wait, I just want to tell you. What did they just tell you? I'm full, leave it alone. We have a hard time hearing that message, don't we? Because it what means we need to do what? Take a time out, just shut up. And then when they pause, that's when you say, I'm sorry, I interrupted what you were doing. Because we want to work with them, not fight with them. And if you keep pushing your agenda, do this, take your finger and poke at somebody with it. Go ahead, poke. How many of you like being poked with that? Would you just be quiet? So what I'm going to tell you, this is a critical message for you to get into your brain and appreciate. When I give you negative feedback, it's not because I'm trying to be ugly. It's I'm trying to get you to listen to me. Because you're generally trying to talk to me. So I put coffee in there, but all this other stuff. I filled up all the space. Not only the 5, I'm gonna have caramels, but you're gonna have coconut, and we need to meet at the menswear entrance. So what will I not have with me when I get there? The vacation pictures, and who will I not have called? Margaret, where's coffee? Well, I lost that a long time ago. That's not even on the table anymore. I mean, it's long gone. I don't even have a way to get to it anymore right now. Except, if you're a young person, you're young, and your wiring is really good and quick, what will happen? What's the first thing I did when I couldn't think what it was? I looked around the kitchen. So the first thing you do is you look around the kitchen. A young person hasn't done that much stuff in the kitchen. So they look around the kitchen, and what do their eyes notice? The coffee pot, and they go, cha-ching, drop the penny. They don't have to go anywhere. You're a little older. You've done a lot of things in the kitchen. Some of them we want to talk about, some we don't. But you've done so many things in the kitchen, you can't look around the kitchen and get it to pop. So then you try system number 2. You always go in this order. You talk to yourself. Tell your children it's healthy. Because what you're literally trying to do by talking out loud is prompt the memory of why you came in there. You literally say to yourself, and everybody did it, I heard some of y'all do it. Now what did I come in here for? Because now you've moved to auditory cueing. You're trying to cue yourself up, because if you say it out loud, maybe it will prompt what it was. It will be enough of a cue to get you to go, cha-ching, there it is. But that didn't work either. Because when you get a little older, it wasn't firmly enough embedded, and there's too many other things floating around now. I've lost it. So I have to actually physically travel back to the setup where I was. And then if you watched, I tried the whole thing all over again. I looked at the chair, I looked at the TV. I say to myself, I was watching TV, the program ended, and I still couldn't get it to pop until, cha-ching, there it was, right there waiting for me in my working memory. I just couldn't get to it. Normal aging. That's absolutely right. All of that is wrong.
Still always relieved that I'm normal aging when I watch this stuff. So, what are some of the features you noticed in normal aging in the normal aging scenario? Like, for example, like you can't recall a word. You have to describe the word to get it to pop up. What are some other things that you've noticed that she had to do, or that you know that you've had to do to get that going more?
Recreate what you were doing at the time. Yeah.
I think we've all done that.
Rewind.
Go back in the closet. What was I doing in
Go
there?
back to the room I
Yeah.
came from. Like, what did I
Yeah.
come out here for?
Yep, exactly. So, and so, for example, you know, some things that people do, they might hesitate more. They might look before they leap, or with other scenarios, that you might lose that, right? You may pause when finding a word. And I've noticed this too, that new data reminds me of old data. I've moved a lot, right? So I'll see people and I'm like, they are not in Anchorage, Alaska, because I saw them in, you know, Birmingham, Alabama, or, you know, because I recognize their face. Or like, for example, there's a lady, y'all are probably familiar with her name, Nancy Burke. I keep seeing that name. I kept going, why? And she's local. She's affiliated with, I think Kelda sent out an email today with her name. She was CC'd on the email. every time I see that name, it reminds me of someone else. I could not figure out who it was, right? So I thought about it, and this morning it hit me. My supervisor, way back, 20 years ago, was named Nancy Burke. I can picture her to this day. She was always very well put together. Her hair was always perfect. I remember she retired shortly thereafter. I was somewhat pleased, but I could not remember her name, or who it was, why that name sounded familiar. So a lot of times we see things, and we think it's a duplicate, but it may not be. So then I'm gonna ask you to do some interactive stuff. How was, after we answer this question, so how was learning about your brain and how it works, how does it affect your thinking? What are some things, how you can relate it to what you do every day when you go to homes? Will you be more patient? Will you, how will you act differently, or what can you do differently other than what you do right now?
I think
Don't
when
you?
sorry.
No, go ahead.
When you are in a room and you're talking to somebody and you can see them getting overloaded, just shut up. Because we don't. We like talk more for some reason. I don't understand why we do that, and it's hard to do.
It's hard because sometimes being quiet feels awkward, and you're like, should I say so? So that's probably, I think it just feels awkward to be silent sometimes.
Definitely awkward. And I can't remember, wasn't it like, see, here we go. Like, what movie was it? Like Heathers or Pulp Fiction or something along that genre. I remember it was something about comfortable silences. That was kind of how, and I remember that's usually not in the same sentence. Usually it's awkward silence. That's what we say. So that's exactly what we want to do, is just kind of pause. And y'all know me, I have what she was saying, diarrhea of the mouth. I can't. And that's where, like, interrogators and whatnot, you just kind of let somebody go. You just, I should say investigators, probably a little more positive.
Interrogators.
Interrogate you. But that's one of the things that I have a problem with. Even, matter of fact, when you interview for a job, people do that. And they say a lot more than they should. And that's one thing that I used to tell people was answer the question, be quiet, and then if you think of something, you can refer back to it later and say, oh yeah, I meant to say. But so to me, I kind of equate that. I've done a lot of interviews, whether I'm providing the interview on the question side or taking it. So I think that it would be really good to do in the homes as well, is just recognize, maybe when you just need to stop. You might get more information that way. And you won't make them stress out so much, because that can get somebody. Of course, to me, the awkward silence can make me stressed, right? So as you get older, it can actually have the opposite effect. So how should you, and this kind of goes back, kind of a review, when you greet someone, to not stress them out, or whatever, when you greet somebody and you say like, hi, it's Alvin. You're supposed to, going hand in hand, you're supposed to, kind of reach out and let them take your hand. But what you might want to do is do what? Before you reach out to that hand, just for a split second.
Pause.
Right, just give them that chance to, she's like she said, she went through all those steps. So maybe just give them a minute to recognize what you said and what you're doing. So don't just, like me, I have a problem just going, hey, it's Carrie. So, and that's one thing that I've learned through doing the training, is that I have to really slow down. For example, if somebody is looking for a word, what can you do to make them comfortable? Like you said, we wait. And that's, it's a simple thing, but it's really hard to do. Sometimes you can prompt someone to remember more things. Maybe you could give them a list. A lot of times you leave your brochure or your business card so that they can remember that you stopped by, and it has a lot of simple but good information in there so that they go through it quickly. So then, I guess I really need to know what you think. What was your one takeaway that you got from this that you think that you could use for the future?
Slow down and use less words.
And
Patience.
don't stress when you can't immediately recall something, because that's normal.
Right.
That's right.
That's perfectly normal.
Perfectly normal.
And the
Yeah.
more you stress about it, the less you'll be able to remember it.
Right, exactly. And for us, like, it can affect our work. I know that, obviously I'll see when I get, kind of overwhelmed, I get just kind of like I just need to stop and regroup, and things seem a lot worse in that moment than they really are, right? If I give myself just to kind of get myself back on track, then everything's fine. So it just takes a little bit longer for someone who's older, but it's really normal. I mean, that's just, as we get older. I know before, man, I'm pretty proud of myself. It's kind of like now, I look back, and what's the saying when you see it on Facebook and stuff all the time? And it's like, I wish I was skinny as I didn't know I was before, right? Like, high school, I wish I looked, I wish I knew how good I looked then. Well, I kind of look at it as I thought I was okay before in my working career, but now I'm like, man, I had it going on. And as I get older, I still have it going on, but it's just a little bit less or a little bit slower going on. All right, so that's all we're going to watch, and this concludes my presentation.
Awesome.